America and Patriotism by Archbishop Ireland, out of the Book of Patriotism, part of the Young Folks Library, Volume 18. America is the country of human dignity and human liberty. When the fathers of the Republic declared that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, a cardinal principle was enunciated, which in its truth was as old as the race, but in practical realization almost unknown. Slowly, amid sufferings and revolutions, humanity had been reaching out toward a reign of the rights of man. Anti-Christian paganism had utterly denied such rights. It allowed nothing to man as man. He was what wealth, place, or power made him. Even the wise Aristotle taught that some men were intended by nature to be slaves and chattels. The sweet religion of Christ proclaimed aloud the doctrine of the common fatherhood of God and the universal brotherhood of men. 1800 years, however, went by, and the civilized world had not yet put its civil and political institutions in accord with its spiritual faith. The Christian church was all this time leavening human society and patiently awaiting the promised fermentation. This came at last, and it came in America. It came in a first manifestation through the Declaration of Independence. It came in a second and final manifestation through President Lincoln's Proclamation of Emancipation. In America, all men are civilly and politically equal. All have the same rights. All wield the same arm of defense and of conquest, the suffrage. And the sole condition of rights and of power is simple manhood. Liberty is the exemption from all restraint, save that of the laws of justice and order, the exemption from submission to other men, except as they represent and enforce those laws. The divine gift of liberty to man is God's recognition of his greatness and his dignity. The sweetness of man's life and the power of growth lie in liberty. The loss of liberty is the loss of light and sunshine, the loss of life's best portion. Humanity, under the spell of heavenly memories, never ceased to dream of liberty and to aspire to its possession. Now and then, here and there, its refreshing breezes caressed humanity's brow, but not until the Republic of the West was born, not until the star-spangled banner rose toward the skies, was liberty caught up in humanity's embrace and embodied in a great and abiding nation. In America, the government takes from the liberty of the citizen only so much as is necessary for the well of the nation, which the citizen by his own act freely concedes. In America, there are no masters who govern in their own rights, for their own interests, or at their own will. We have over us no Louis the 14th. Saying, L'etat sis moi. I know that's not right, folks. I'm sorry. That's the best I can do with Latin. No Hohenzollern announcing that in his acts as sovereign, he is responsible only to his conscience and to God. Ours is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. The government is our own organized will. There is no state above or apart from the people. Rights begin with and go upward from the people. In other countries, even those apparently the most free, rights begin with and come downward from the state. The rights of citizens, the rights of the people, are concessions which have been painfully wrenched from the governing powers. With Americans, whenever the organized government does not prove its grant, the liberty of the individual citizen is sacred and inviolable. Inviolable. Elsewhere, there are governments called republics. Universal suffrage constitutes the state, but once constituted, the state is tyrannous and arbitrary. Invades at will private rights, and curtails at will individual liberty. One republic is liberty's native home, America. The Antiquity of Freedom by William Cullen Bryant. Here are old trees, tall oaks, and gnarled pines that stream with gray-green mosses. Here the ground was never trenched by spade, and flowers spring up, unsown, and die ungathered. It is sweet to linger here among the flitting birds and leaping squirrels, wandering brooks and winds that shake the leaves and scatter as they pass. A fragrance from the cedars thickly set with pale blue berries. In these peaceful shades, peaceful, unpruned, immeasurably old, my thoughts go up the long, dim path of years, back to the earliest days of liberty. O freedom, thou art not, as poets dream, a fair young girl with light and delicate limbs, and wavy tresses gushing from the cap, with which the Roman master crowned his slave when he took off the gyves. A bearded man, armed to the teeth art thou. One mailed hand grasps the broad shield, and one the sword. Thy brow, glorious in beauty though it be, is scarred with tokens of old wars. Thy massive limbs are strong with struggling. Power at thee has launched his bolts and with his lightnings smitten thee. They could not quench the life thou hast from heaven. Merciless power has dug thy dungeon deep, and his sweet amours by 1,000 fires have forged thy chains. Yet, while he deems thee bound, the links are shivered, and the prison walls fall outward. Terribly thou springest forth, as springs the flame above a burning pile, and shoutest to the nations, who return thy shoutings, while the pale oppressor flies. Thy birthright was not given by human hands. Thou wert twin-born with man. In pleasant fields, while yet our race was few, thou sattest with him, to tend the quiet flock and watch the stars, and teach the reed to utter simple airs. Thou by his side, amid the tangled wood, didst war upon the panther and the wolf, his only foes, and thou with him didst draw the earliest furrow on the mountain's side, soft with the deluge. Tyranny himself, thy enemy, although of reverend look, hoary with many years, and far obeyed, is later born than thou. And as he meets the grave defiance of thine elder eye, the usurper trembles in his fastness. Thou shalt wax stronger with the lapse of years, but he shall fade into a feebler age, feebler, yet subtler. He shall weave his snares, and spring them on thy careless steps, and clap his withered hands, and from their ambush call his hordes to fall upon thee. He shall send quaint maskers, wearing fair and gallant forms to catch thy eye, and uttering graceful words to charm thy ear, while his sly imps by stealth twine round thee strands of steel, light thread on thread, that grow to fetters, or bind down thy arms with chains concealed in chaplets. Oh, not yet mayest thou embrace thy corslet, nor lay by thy sword, nor yet, O freedom, close thy lids in slumber. For thine enemy never sleeps, and thou must watch and combat till the day of the new earth and heaven. But wouldst thou rest a while from tumult and the frauds of men, these old and friendly solitudes invite thy visit. They, while yet the forest trees were young upon the unviolated earth, and yet the moss stains on the rock were new, beheld thy glorious childhood and rejoiced.